Hi.
Hello guys, if you are brand new to my channel, my name is Nikki and this is my book nook. Y'all, I am so excited because today we are going to be doing another Battle of the Books reading vlog. I did this a couple months back with The Spanish Love Deception and The Hating Game. I wanted to compare those books because they were both super popular enemies to lovers workplace romances, so I did a reading vlog where I read them back to back, gave my live reactions, told y'all which book I liked better in the end, and y'all really seemed to like it. So whenever I heard about this new book coming out and it reminded me a lot of another book that I had already owned that I've been wanting to read for a while, I knew this was the perfect time to do it again. So in this video, in this Battle of the Books, we are going to be comparing The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood to The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. Y'all, I literally, down to the titles, I feel like these two books are gonna be so fun to compare to each other. I really don't know a ton about either one. I tell y'all this over and over. I try not to look too much into books. I like to go in mostly blind. I just want to know the general gist. But The Kiss Quotient is a book I've heard so much about. I've wanted to read it for a while. It's been on my shelf. I honestly don't know why I haven't read it yet. And The Love Hypothesis literally just came out and so many people have been talking about it. A lot of people got ARCs. It's one of the book of the months this month. Did that make sense? So a lot of people have been reading it and raving about it. I know that both of these books involve smart people that are inexperienced when it comes to dating, love, relationships, all those types of things. I know that both of these books have somewhat of a fake dating trope to them. Like, I don't think that these stories are quite as similar as The Spanish Love Deception and The Hating Game were, but I think they're still gonna be super fun to compare. I mean, literally just the titles alone, The Kiss Quotient, The Love Hypothesis, they were meant to be compared to each other, and I'm super excited. I honestly don't know which one I'm more excited for. I think this one a little bit, just because I didn't even realize this until after I bought the book and brought it home. The author quote on the front is from Penelope Douglas, which is my favorite author. I've heard this one is really low-key steamy, and you would never know by like the title and the vibes of the book, but it's supposed to be super, super good. But I think I am gonna start with The Love Hypothesis, really for no particular reason, just because it's newer and everyone's kind of talking about it right now, and yeah. We're gonna start with this. As always, I'm just gonna check in with you guys when I have something to say. I'm not gonna do spoilers in this. I'm just kind of generally gonna talk about the books, compare them, talk about the similarities, maybe the differences, which one I liked better, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time. So I will check in with y'all in a bit. Okay guys, I just unintentionally flew through the first 100 pages of The Love Hypothesis, and I love it so far. So this story follows a girl named Olive. She is a graduate student getting her PhD at Stanford, and this story literally starts out with her running up and kissing the first guy that she sees. And when she pulls away, she realizes, oh my God, I just kissed Dr. Carlson. He is a young professor at Stanford. He is notorious because he is a genius. People respect him a lot, but he's very intense, he's very strict, he makes people cry. He's literally, his name is Adam, and he's literally known as like Adam the Ass Carlson. And he's like, excuse me, what just happened here? And she's like, oh my God, I just kissed a professor, what am I doing? She basically, in a very flustered manner, explains to him that there's a bit of a situation going on. Olive really does not date people. Like, she's never really seriously dated anybody ever, but her friends had talked her into going on a few dates with this guy named Jeremy. They got along fine, but it wasn't anything amazing, and after hanging out with her friends, Jeremy actually totally hit it off with her best friend, An, and she could tell that An really liked him too, and she didn't really care that much for Jeremy in the first place. Like, they were fine, he was fun to hang out with, but like, there was no like spark there, no craziness, whatever. So basically, because she can see that like An is over here feeling guilty about this, and like Jeremy clearly is into her, she just like ends things with Jeremy and is trying to like convince An like it's okay, go out with him, like literally just, it's not a big deal. And An's like, no, you're my best friend, I'm not gonna do that. So basically, like in a panicked moment, she just blurts out and tells her friend An, it doesn't matter, I'm already dating someone else, like go ahead, go for it. And she's like, what, you're dating someone? She's like, yeah, I actually have a date tonight with someone. And An is like, oh, well, okay, I don't know. But she doesn't actually have a date. She was going to the labs instead to work, but then An showed up. So she panicked and turned around, and Adam was walking through the hallway, and she literally just ran up and kissed him so that An would see. But now she turns around and An isn't even there. Does this make sense? So yeah, she explains that to Dr. Carlson, Adam, and he's like, okay, and she apologizes profusely and is like, let's forget this ever happened. Okay, wonderful, bye. Later on, like, confronts her and is like, what the heck was that? Why were you making out with Dr. Carlson? Like, this, excuse me? Like, he's an ass. Like, what, he's who you're dating? Also, he's a professor. It's not that big of a deal because he's not like her professor. She's a PhD student and he is a PhD. They don't directly work together. So it's not like a ethics scandalous thing, but it's just like kind of not done, kind of frowned upon, I guess, in some senses. But yeah, even though Olive just wanted that to be like a one-time thing to convince Olive, go date Jeremy, I'm over him, word ends up spreading. She ends up telling Jeremy that they're dating, that it's okay for them to date. On tells him that, and I guess Jeremy has a big mouth and he tells everyone, and because they're all in this like graduate program together, it's a very like tight-knit community of biology people, I don't know. She, over the next few days, realizes everybody's looking at her, everybody knows, it's spread through the whole freaking department that Olive and Adam are dating each other. So she pretty much goes to Adam and is like, oh my god, everyone thinks we're dating, like, this is horrible, what are we gonna do? And I love Adam. Adam literally, so quickly into this book, made me laugh out loud several times, but it's not even in like an obvious way. Like, he has such a like dry, deadpan humor that is so funny. I've seen so many people on TikTok compare him to Adam Driver. His name is literally Adam, and I 100% see it. Like, the way he's described, I mean, even the kind of the guy on the book, like, he kind of has, is supposed to have like a long nose, like black wavy hair, be super tall, and I'm like, I 100% see it, and the humor, all of it, he's totally Adam Driver, and I am obsessed with it. And in all honesty, Olive is literally Daisy Ridley, Ray, a freaking Raylo fanfic. If I've ever seen one, I'm gonna accept it. But yeah, Adam is like, okay, like, who cares what anyone says? And she's like, well, I don't know, like, but we're not actually dating. And then he's like, well, people already think we are, so what's the point? She's like, well, should I say that we broke up? And he's like, but why? Don't you want your friend to like be able to date Jeremy and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they come to this agreement that they're basically gonna pretend to fake date because people are already talking about it. It benefits Olive with her whole Anna and Jeremy situation. And conveniently enough, it actually benefits Adam because he is such a prominent researcher at Stanford that Stanford is kind of considering him like a flight risk. They think that he's trying to leave to go to another university. So they've kind of like frozen his budget, cut his funding because they think he's gonna leave anyway, so there's no point in like investing money in him. So he says that like if people see that he's in a like committed relationship, Stanford will be less likely to think that he's about to like up and leave because now he has something keeping him here. So they pretty much agree that like until the budget is finalized for the department, they'll continue to fake date. That gives them like a month and a half. That's enough time for like everybody to kind of get over it, for An to for sure think that like Olive is over Jeremy, and for Adam to basically get his funding back. So that's pretty much the premise of what's going on. Dude, the fake dating trope, it truly is kind of the same in every book, but it makes me so damn giddy. Like, why is it? It's just so cute because it's like, you don't know, like, are you performing or is this how you really feel? Like, are you acting this way because everyone's watching or because you want to? Are you saying that to me because it's your true thoughts or not? And then the like, oh, we're faking, but then the deep down, like, wait, why do I feel this way kind of moment. I'm really into it so far. I'm really into Adam. I think the whole thing is very cute. Already a few things have popped up that are kind of like conflicts of interest, like possible roadblocks, and things like the lies are getting deeper and deeper and building on each other, and so they have to like continue to more forcefully fake date, and I'm super excited to see where it goes because I'm really into it so far. It's really cute. It's super easy to read, and yeah, I will check in with y'all probably halfway through and give you more thoughts. Okay guys, I'm a little bit over halfway through, and this has been such an easy read so far. Like, it's been so hard to put down. I genuinely really like Olive, and I feel like she's very relatable. She's a total like overthinker. I know a lot of people like take issue with the overthinking and the miscommunication aspect of these sort of books sometimes, but I'm like, bro, it's so realistic. Like, it's, us girls tend to do that, and even if in the book you're like, okay, it's so obvious this guy likes you, why are you being stupid? Like, it's not always obvious in real life. You never know. We don't freaking read minds. I also really love Adam so far. I will say he hasn't done anything so far that's like, OMG, knight in shining armor, make my heart melt. Like, there's so many guys in these rom-com-y books that are just absurdly, ridiculously too perfect, and they just go like super out of their way and do these like grand gestures. Like, he hasn't done anything like that yet, but it's just the subtle little things that he does, lines that he drops, ways that he looks at Olive, and just his humor. I'm obsessed with him. He's just literally Adam Driver and I can't get over it. But yeah, I really like it so far, and I'm getting so excited because I can literally sense it. The one bed trope is about to come, like having to share a room and there being one bed. It's totally happening. A scene or a chapter just happened that I was just like, I can feel it coming, and I think it's gonna be a big moment. And yeah, it's just very cute. One thing that I did want to mention that I haven't mentioned so far, this book is in third person. A lot of people don't like that. I definitely prefer a first person point of view, but I can kind of get used to any point of view, in all honesty. Like, it doesn't bother me as much as I feel it bothers other people. But I think this book has done a really good job of, even though it is in third person, we get a lot of Olive's like internal monologue. There's a lot of like italics of her straight up thoughts that she's thinking. So if you're a person that's bothered by third person, I wouldn't let that like discourage you from reading this book, because I still think it's really good and all the points are gotten across. And yeah. But I probably will talk to y'all once I finish this, unless something monumental happens that I have to react to. But it's just a very cute little fake dating moment, and I'm here for it. You guys, I literally spoke like half a second too soon because, oh my God, Adam. And I can't say too much, but I had thought that this book was like gonna be a little wholesome. Like, not anything had happened that had given me any indication that this might get to like a level of spice, and I just experienced something that oh my God, I'm unwell. I've been staring at the ceiling for the past 5 minutes in silence, and I think my cats are worried about me, and I'm kind of in physical pain. It's so good. It's so good. Oh my God, Adam. Okay. I don't know if these were coherent thoughts, but coherent? I was just about to make a comment how I feel like this book is making me smarter, and then I just forgot the definition of the word coherent. Anyways, I'm loving it. Okay, hello guys. It is the next day. I just got home from work, and I'm quite literally delirious because I stayed up until 3 a.m. last night finishing The Love Hypothesis. And I have quite literally thought about this book all day. Like, I just kept thinking about it, and I just kept getting these like warm fuzzy feelings in my chest, and I think my heart exploded, among other things. Dude, this was a 5-star read for me. Like, it's so funny doing this type of vlog reaction because I thought I was gonna like this book. I didn't know how much I was gonna absolutely love it in the end. Like, the ending was just so perfect. Like, everything wrapped up exactly how I would have wanted it to. It just, there wasn't too much of anything. It was just so well done. It was just such a good story. It was such a good book. I'm so happy with it, and I am so excited to start the Kiss Quotient because I was low-key more excited about this one, but this one ended up being so good. And again, I don't think these stories are going to be super similar, but I think they're going to be similar enough that it's going to be really interesting to read them back to back. This might be a battle. This might be a literal battle of the books because I've heard so many good things about this, but this just my heart, and I can't. And he's so Adam Driver, and I might have spent a decent amount of time looking at pictures of Adam Driver today while I was at work on my work computer. We don't have to talk about it, but y'all just go read this book. Go read it. Oh my God. And I found out in the author's note at the end that the author is actually a freaking scientist. She is a neuroscientist and is like a genius and has published all these like research articles, literally just like the character in the book. But now she's just like casually a rom-com author on the side. Like, excuse me, freaking queen of everything. I see you. I can't say enough good things about this book. I just really, really loved it, and it was a great time. But yes, I might honestly need a little bit of a nap because, again, went to sleep at 3 a.m. last night, but then I'm very, very excited to get started on the Kiss Quotient, and I will totally check in with you guys probably about 100 pages in, let you know what the story is generally about, what I'm thinking, you know the drill. I'll see you then. Okay guys, it is the next day and I am 100 pages into the Kiss Quotient, so I wanted to take a pause and kind of catch y'all up on what I've read so far, what this book's about, let you know my thoughts, all the things. Basically, this story follows a girl named Stella Lane. She is a 30-year-old econometrist, I think is how you pronounce it. She basically is super crazy smart, and she works at creating algorithms that help people make purchasing decisions. Basically, like when you're on Amazon and you're looking at a product and it has recommended for you below it, like she's the person that creates that coding to recommend things to you. And she makes bukus of money doing it. She's like super dedicated to work, and her entire life, a lot like the Love Hypothesis, has been invested in improving herself as a career woman. And one very important thing about Stella that we learn early on in the book is that she has Asperger's. So she has a lot of issues with social situations, and like a big part of Asperger's is like fixating on things, obsessing over things, or not having any interest in them at all. Like there's no in between. So that's why, one of the reasons why work is such a focus in her life. It's something that she's good at, something that she knows, it's something she's confident in, so she just puts all of her life and time and effort into working. And the story basically starts out, she's at a dinner or lunch or something with her parents, and her mother pretty much informs her, Stella, we're ready for you to have grandchildren. Like, you're 30 years old, you're still single, you know, you need to get going on that, or like time's gonna run out, basically. And Stella instantly is just like, oh my god. And that thought stresses Stella out a lot, because with her disorder, she has a really hard time just in all social situations, but dating and intimacy especially. She's had very little experience with that in the past. She's had some, but it never goes well, and it's something that gives her like extreme anxiety. And she wants to obviously be able to give her parents grandchildren, and she loves the thought of having her own children, but just literally the thought of like, I mean, I'm gonna be straight up honest, this book is very much about sex. Like, that gives her, it's not a good time. Like, she's not good at it, it makes her freak out, and she cannot imagine having to go through that voluntarily, basically. So she ends up kind of like stewing over this for a little bit. This is all in the first few pages, and she ends up going to work. She's literally at work like on a Saturday, and a coworker, a guy that her mom literally suggests that she should maybe try dating, he comes in, and I don't know, somehow this kind of comes up, and he makes a comment that she needs to get out there more. She needs to get some practice, and the more she dates, the more she like goes out with guys and hooks up with guys, the better she'll get at it, basically. And Stella, being the very like straightforward, organized person that she is, she's like, why am I gonna put in the effort to like go out and find someone? Like, I'll just find a professional. So she basically looks up an escort service, and she decides that she is going to pay a male escort to basically teach her to be better at sex. It's basically the premise of this story. So we're getting Stella's perspective, but then it switches to Michael's perspective, who is this male escort that she has hired. And the book, just right off the bat, it gets right into it. Like, there have been no low points in this book. Like, we pretty much see this beginning conversation with Stella and her parents, the decision that she's gonna hire this male escort, and then like the next chapter is like her meeting Michael at the hotel for the first like session or whatever. And that first session does not go great. Stella is really an interesting character to read because she does have Asperger's, so just seeing inside her mind, the way that she thinks, the way that she handles situations, and like things that she's comfortable with, not comfortable with. Like, one thing that she mentions very quickly is like physical touch. Like, if she doesn't know, like, she needs to know what's gonna happen, and she needs to be like literally just small stuff like, I'm gonna touch your arm, like just things like that. And it's just really interesting being inside her head. And then Michael has no idea that she has Asperger's, so just them like navigating that, it was really kind of like, I don't want to say funny, but like it's funny, and I think it's meant to be written as kind of like quirky and funny and just awkward, and but kind of adorable at the same time. Michael picks up very quickly on like Stella is not going to be a normal client, and like he needs to take his time with her, and he just really quickly kind of like takes an interest in her. It's like a solid rule of his that he does not have repeat clients, but Stella wants to have repeat sessions. Like, she's very meticulous about all of this. Like, she has like checklists and spreadsheets of like her, like, all the steps she's gonna learn, like performance reviews, like all these things. And you know, Michael like starts to get this soft spot for her very quickly, very early on. He can tell, like, you know, this girl is like beautiful, but she just lacks like confidence. She's obviously not experienced in this. Like, somebody obviously hasn't previously taken the time with her, treated her the right way. So that's pretty much like what the premise of the story is. I mean, I'm 1/3 of the way through, and like I said, there's no low points. Like, each chapter just kind of jumps to the next date that they're going on, and it slowly sort of transitions too, because Michael does realize she's not a person that can just like jump into this. Like, she needs to not just learn about like straight up intimacy, like she needs to learn about a relationship, like becoming comfortable with someone. So they kind of transition their straight up meet up in a hotel room sessions to kind of dates, and it kind of turns into like this fake dating sort of thing of, I'm not just gonna pay you to straight up like hook up with me, I'm gonna kind of pay you to actually be an escort and date me and teach me how to be in a relationship versus just like teaching me about sex. So that's kind of where we're at, and you can tell clearly, like, Michael still has no idea that she has Asperger's, but we can also see that there's more to Michael. Clearly, he is a male escort, and he only escorts on Friday nights, and we've only gotten little tidbits, like little comments keep getting made, like in his internal monologue. Clearly, like, there's something deeper to him, and there's something in his past, some reason why he's an escort, and something that he's kind of keeping buried down. And yeah, it's cute so far. It's very like different because of Stella and like her situation, and it's quirky, it's fun, it's cute. I like it. I mean, it's really, really easy to read. I wouldn't say I'm like super obsessed with it. It's very also just like straight up steamy. Like, there's not much else to the story happening yet. Like, but I assume that's gonna come very soon. Like, I think we're gonna get to see a lot more like in-depth conversations and relationship building and stuff like that, but the first 100 pages have been pretty wham bam lessons. So yeah. Also, one thing I wanted to mention, similarities with Love Hypothesis. Obviously the fake dating, we knew that. Both stories' main characters are super smart females that are really focused on their career and have set aside dating to focus on that. And one thing that I literally didn't realize before starting these books is they're actually set in the same location. The Love Hypothesis was at Stanford, and then Kiss Quotient is in Palo Alto, which is literally in the same 10-mile radius. And funny enough, it's where my dad's from, and I was literally there last weekend. So like, seeing in the books like them talking about where they're going and the places, I'm like, I was literally just there, and it's really weird. But yeah, pretty different stories, but lots of similarities, like lots of overlapping tropes. And yeah, I'm very interested to see where this is gonna go, and I will definitely check in with y'all in probably another 100 pages or so. Okay guys, hello. I am 175 pages into this book now, and I just need to check in because I'm having a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings. The main one being that I'm really not loving this book, and I kind of want to talk about why. The main thing is I'm not buying this story. I'm not believing it. It just doesn't seem at all realistic to me, and I want to try to explain why in the best way without it coming off the wrong way. I'm just talking about this from the perspective of a reader, and you know, every story that I read, I have to like kind of put myself in that place, and I think about it realistically. Like, if this was me, how would I act? What would I think? And if a story to me just doesn't seem realistic, it's really hard for me to like connect with it and enjoy it. And this book is just getting to the point where I'm just not, it's a little too rom-com-y, it's a little too perfect. So I did speak a little too soon in the last clip whenever I was saying I hope it gets a little more personal, we get to dig a little deeper. That happened like right after 100 pages. We did get to see more other than just their sessions, and other people in their lives have kind of unintentionally gotten involved in this whole scenario. And I don't know, something about Stella and Michael's chemistry, I'm just not buying it. It's moving along far quicker than I think it realistically would, and I'm not really understanding. Like, I'm understanding Stella's infatuation with Michael totally. Like, he's just like this super hot guy, he's really nice to her, like everything about that makes sense to me. but I'm just not quite buying Michael's infatuation in her. Like, because, I mean, as I mentioned, like, Stella has Asperger's, right? And this is not me at all, before anybody thinks that, trying to say like somebody with autism, with Asperger's, like can't form relationships, isn't capable of people being attracted to them. That's not what I'm saying. But Michael doesn't realize that Stella has this condition. He doesn't know she's on the spectrum, and Stella does and says a lot of things that are just really, I don't want to say not normal, but they're just things that people in regular situations would find very uncomfortable, very awkward. They would be very confused by and even annoyed by. One of my biggest sort of icks in life, pet peeves, if you will, are like people that cannot read the room and do not know how to act in social situations. And obviously Stella does not have control over that. That is the whole point. But Stella does some things that I'm just like, if I was with a guy and he did these things, there's no way I would continue to see him. I would not, much less like be attracted to him, enamored with him. I wouldn't. And so I'm not understanding like why Michael likes her. Like, I don't want to say that because that's awful. And again, I'm not saying because she has Asperger's someone can't like her, but it'd be one thing, I feel like, if he knew and he was able to work with it, but just so early on, him being infatuated, like, I'm not understanding why, especially whenever he is an escort. He does this every week. He gets paid a ton of money. There's so many clients that he could go with. Like, I don't really, just because of what has happened, I'm like, if I was in this situation and I was Michael, there's no way I would have agreed to this deal with her of like these lessons, of these, like the relationship lessons. I wouldn't have agreed to it. And then just after some things have happened, I don't understand why he just has no reaction and is still like into her. I don't know. I feel like I'm sounding like a horrible person, but that's just how I'm feeling. And on top of that, I gotta be honest, like this book, there's lots of spice in this book. It's a little cringy. It's getting very cringy. I feel like in the beginning, it was a little like more like, ooh, spicy fun, because like he was an escort and it was like kind of like, I don't know, there was like this whole other element to it that made it kind of like, ooh, sexy. But like now that I feel like there's some feelings involved there and stuff, just some of the like lines that are being said, some of the ways that things are described, it's like really icking me out. You know, like, I don't know. I feel like just certain spice in certain books, you either just feel it and it hits, and other times it does not. And this, for me right now, is not hitting. And it doesn't help on top of that. Again, with her condition, like her internal thoughts, the way she reacts to things, it really just breaks up the tension and the enjoyment of those spicy moments. And I know that's the entire point of the book, is it's the point of view of having a relationship with someone that has autism, and I get that. But literally, I am a person that reviews books. I explain whether or not I enjoy them, whether I like them, whether I'd recommend them, and currently, I'm not really thoroughly enjoying this book. And that's where I'm at. I will check in with y'all like when I finish, and my thoughts might change, but yeah, I'm not obsessed. So, don't hate me, okay? Okay guys, I just finished the book. I will say there were some cute moments. There was kind of a big plot twist I didn't see coming. All throughout the book, we're kind of trying to learn like what is the reason that Michael escorts. Like there's a lot of hinting at issues with like his family and things that he's keeping hidden, and it's really drawn out throughout the whole book, and it was finally revealed in the end, and I just am kind of like, I just found it to be like a bit underwhelming for how much it was drawn out. Overall, I thought this book was just okay. Like, I'm being completely honest with y'all, as always. I just didn't think there was much to it, much to the story. The concept itself was something very new and different from anything I've read before, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't do anything for me. At no point did I get tingles and butterflies like I have from so many other books. And that's just my honest thoughts. I would probably give it a 3 out of 5 star. The author's note at the end was really cute. I definitely recommend reading that. It really like put it into perspective, and it really showed how much research and thought the author put into this book, and you know, the whole autism aspect of it. It was something really close to home for her. So that did like touch me a little bit and gave me a little bit more of an appreciation for the book. So yeah, in the end, it was just okay for me. I wouldn't say that I don't recommend it, but I also wouldn't say that like anybody needs to run out and read this right away. I just thought, compared to a lot of the rom-coms I've read recently, which have been so many, it really felt kind of flat. So in the end, this book battle wasn't too much of a battle after all. The Love Hypothesis, I loved it, dude. It was a 5 star. It was the best book I read this month. One of the best books I've read this year. Completely obsessed with it. Kiss Quotient was a 3 star. Both of them though, you know, were cute, were different, did touch on the concept of smart, independent women that are not very experienced in dating, getting involved in some sort of fake dating scenario. I loved feeling like I got smarter from these books. I loved seeing, you know, slightly socially awkward people learning to love. It was a good time. I'm super happy I did this video. It's always fun to give the reactions in real time and go back and watch it afterwards. And then I don't know, it's fun to compare things. It adds a new element to book reviews. So I will totally do more of these in the future. If you guys have any ideas for other book battles, definitely leave them down below. I have a couple in mind over the next few months, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, if you guys read either one of these books, I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Whether you agree with me, disagree with me, just want to ramble, rant, I'm here for all of it. But yeah, I think that is it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to y'all very soon. Bye!